Hi everyone, I'm Sophia, and I'm here with Oliver. Today, we're talking about the voice of victory.
Yes, Sophia, the voice of victory is that strong feeling inside you that says, I can do it. It helps you when things get tough.
Exactly, Oliver. It's not just about winning a game or a race. It's about winning in life, like finishing a big project, learning something new, or just not giving up.
Let's talk more about that. When we say voice of victory, we mean two things. First, voice, which is what we hear, but it can also mean the thoughts in your head, right?
Yes, it can be the voice in your mind that helps you. And then, victory. It's about success, but not just winning against someone else. It's about beating the hard things in life.
I love that, Sophia. Victory can be small, like learning a new English word, or big, like reaching your dream job. What's important is listening to that inner voice that says, keep going.
That reminds me of a story. There was an athlete who lost many times. His inner voice said, you'll never win, but he started telling himself, you can do this. One more try. Over time, his voice of victory got stronger, and he finally won.
Yes, it takes practice to build that voice. Listeners, think about it. What do you tell yourself when things are hard? Is your inner voice cheering you on?
Now, let's stop and think about a few phrases we've used. We've talked about voice of victory, inner confidence, and determination.
Right. Voice of victory is your inner strength, telling you to keep trying. Inner confidence means believing in yourself, and determination is that strong will to never give up.
Before we end this part, let's give our listeners some advice.
Sure. My advice is, start small. If you learn a new English word or phrase, say something positive to yourself like, I did it.
Good one. My advice is to look up to someone who inspires you. Watch how they don't give up, and let that inspire your own voice of victory. Now, we're going to talk about how this voice can help you learn English. Oliver, ready to chat about this?
Yes, Sophia, I'm ready. Learning English isn't easy, but having that voice of victory inside, you can really help. Let's get started.
So, Oliver, what advice would you give to someone who feels nervous about learning English? How can they find that strong, positive voice?
The first step is to believe in yourself. You have to tell yourself, I can learn this, even if you make mistakes. That voice of victory should be there saying, keep trying, don't give up. It's like having a friend inside your head cheering you on.
Yes, mistakes are normal when you're learning English. Everyone makes them. But instead of feeling bad about it, let your inner voice say, I'm learning, and each mistake makes me better. That's what keeps you moving forward.
Exactly. Instead of focusing on being perfect, focus on getting better. It's not about being perfect right away, it's about small improvements. Every day, you get a little better.
Right? And that's why it's so important to keep that positive voice strong. Whenever you learn something new, tell yourself, I did it. That way, you keep building confidence.
Speaking of confidence, let's talk about speaking English. Many people feel nervous or shy when they have to speak in a new language. What would you say to them?
I would say, don't be afraid to speak. The more you practice, the better you get. And most people aren't judging you, they're happy you're trying. Just remember that every time you speak, you're improving.
Yes, you don't need to be perfect. The most important thing is to try. Each time you practice speaking, you get more confident. It's like a muscle, the more you use it, the stronger it gets.
Exactly. And it's also helpful to set small goals. Don't say, I want to be fluent in English right away. Start with something simple, like I want to learn 5 new words today. That way, your voice of victory stays strong because you're reaching those small goals.
Yes, and when you reach those goals, celebrate them. It doesn't matter if it's a small win, every bit of progress counts. Say to yourself, I'm getting better. That positive voice will keep you going.
That's great advice, Oliver. So, to our listeners, keep practicing, stay positive, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. The voice of victory is inside you, and it will help you succeed in learning English.
Exactly. Every step forward is a win. Just keep going, and before you know it, you'll see big improvements. Now, we're going to make this part a little more fun with real stories and some laughs along the way. I think it's time to share some stories. What do you think?
Yes, let's do it. You know, Oliver, I remember when I was learning French, my voice of victory saved me. I was trying to order a coffee in a cafe, but I kept saying the wrong words. Instead of asking for a coffee, I asked for, well, something else completely. Everyone laughed, but I didn't give up. I laughed too, and I tried again.
Oh no. What did you say instead of coffee? Now I have to know.
Well, I was trying to say cafe, but I accidentally asked for a fish. The waiter looked confused, but I just laughed, corrected myself, and ordered my coffee. It was a funny moment, but my voice of victory told me, keep trying, Sophia, you'll get it.
That's hilarious, Sophia, and that's the perfect example. Sometimes you just have to laugh at yourself and keep going. I had a similar experience when I was learning Spanish. I was trying to ask someone where the bathroom was, but instead, I asked where the bank was.
Oh no, Oliver, what did the person say?
They looked at me very seriously and said, well, you can't go to the bathroom at the bank. But I didn't give up either. I just smiled and tried again. That's what the voice of victory is all about, laughing at the small mistakes and staying positive.
Exactly. It's about staying calm, having fun, and not taking everything too seriously. Language learning should be an adventure. The voice of victory helps you enjoy the process, even when things go wrong.
Yes, and listeners, if you've ever felt embarrassed or nervous while speaking English, just remember that everyone goes through it. Even native speakers mess up sometimes. The important thing is to keep that positive attitude and keep trying.
Let's hear from one of our listeners now. We asked people to share their own stories of how their voice of victory helped them while learning English. Here's a fun one from Maria. She said, I was at a party trying to talk to new friends in English. I wanted to say, I'm excited to meet you, but instead I said, I'm exited.
Oh, that's a classic, but you know what? Everyone probably knew what she meant, and that's what matters. You don't have to be perfect. It's about connecting with people and being brave enough to try.
Exactly. And Maria said that after she realized her mistake, she laughed about it and kept talking. That's her voice of victory saying, don't worry about it, keep going.
And that's such an important lesson. When we make mistakes and keep going, that's when we grow. It's like exercising your English muscles. Every time you push through a tough moment, your confidence gets stronger.
Yes, Oliver. So, for all of you out there learning English, remember that it's okay to make mistakes. The key is to keep practicing, keep laughing, and let your voice of victory guide you.
Before we wrap up, let's give our listeners one last piece of advice. Sophia, what's the one thing you tell someone who's feeling stuck with their English learning?
I'd say, don't be too hard on yourself. Learning takes time, and you're doing great just by trying. So, even when things feel tough, remember that you're getting better every day. Listen to that voice of victory. It's there to remind you of how far you've come.
I love that. My advice would be, make it fun. Find ways to enjoy learning English, watch shows, listen to music, or talk to friends. The more fun you have, the more you'll want to keep going, and remember, you've got this.
Well, that's it. Folks, we hope you've enjoyed this podcast series on the voice of victory. We've shared tips, stories, and had some laughs along the way. But most importantly, we hope you feel inspired to keep going with your English learning.
Yes, we've had a great time talking with you all. Keep that voice of victory strong, and remember you're doing better than you think.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. We hope to see you again soon. Keep practicing, keep smiling, and keep that positive voice alive.